Some lead-free solder is kind of hard to get shiny, so you just have to make sure that you have a good smooth texture to it. It may have a little bit of a matte finish, but if you're using the 6040 rosin core solder, it's going to look similar to this. So again, if you have new pots like this, the solder just flows and it connects and it bonds really nicely to the new solder joints. Whereas if you're using some of these older pots that I was using to practice with here, there's so much oxidations, you're going to have a difficult time to get the solder to bond correctly. But as you can see with a newer pot like this, it's pretty simple and it flows really nicely. As mentioned before, the oxidation could develop on a potentiometer over time. So if it's an older pot, you would have to kind of scrape off and get rid of some of that oxidation. Sometimes a little bit of sandpaper works really well. Some potentiometers actually have a coating on it that kind of requires you to kind of scrape that off so you can get a better surface that will allow the solder to bond to it. The nice thing with the Seymour Duncan pots is like they're ready to go. They have a nice surface. It's going to make soldering much easier. Plus the operation of it, the feel of these pots, they're really nice. As a guitar player, you really dig the feel and the response of these types of potentiometers. They're really well made and they're perfect for any guitar. We make 500K, 250s, and they're right on our website, so you can get them. They're relatively inexpensive. Something you'll find yourself doing on occasion is having to reconnect wires on an output jack. If you're experiencing, let's say, intermittent sound, especially you'll be able to tell, like when you're moving your cable and the sound starts to come in and out, it tells me that the connections to the lugs of the output jack are bad. So what you want to do is pull it out and reconnect the wires. Maybe you're going to have to replace the wires. Regardless, what we want to do is create a hook with the wire like this, and then these terminals are already pre-tinned, so it's going to be real easy for me to just heat up the terminals and add my new wire just like this. I'm going to hold the wire, try not to move the wire so it bonds really nicely, and once it dries, I'm good to go. What I can do with this excess wire here is I can just trim it off with my wire cutters. And so you do the same with the ground wire on the other lug. Pretty simple, but just wanted to show you that hook method on an output jack.